Welcome back to Racing Rundown here on YouTube. I'm Eric DeCoster. In this Kentucky Derby profile, we'll be taking a look at Jeff Ruby Stakes winner Tiz the Bomb. A talented horse, two-race win streak, but a lot of questions that he will have to answer. I'll give you a quick little lowdown on what he's done to this point in his career before we dive into replays, and of course, a little wrap-up looking at the positives and negatives of his career to this point. 5 for 8 lifetime, excuse me, with a good second to go along with it, has earned over $1 million on the track, which is something that I believe only Epicenter can say as well. There might be another one. I'm doing a quick little scroll here just to make sure, but either way, one of a few millionaires only in this year's Kentucky Derby. That doesn't really do much for you on the racetrack, but is notable nonetheless. A very talented horse. He has done some excellent things to this point in his career. He is a graded stakes winner. He was second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf last year, a race we won't watch because it doesn't really matter at this point. In fact, I'm kind of just letting the bourbon roll right now so you can really see how good of a horse he is there in that white and orange cap, the 12 horse. He's a very talented runner. He just has certain glaring negatives that he'll have to overcome, but obviously a good one this year. He lost the Holy Bull before putting together back-to-back wins at Turfway Park in the John Battaglia Memorial and the Jeff Ruby Stakes. He's trained by Ken McPeak, 0 in the Derby right now. He's ran a favorite even in Harlan's Holiday way back in 2003, or 2002, excuse me. But this horse has talent, and he's bringing Smile Happy as well. He has a really good contingent this year. He's won Churchill Downs training titles. Tiz the Bomb will be ridden by Brian Hernandez, who's been aboard for all but one start in his career, so 7 rides in total on this horse. Brian Hernandez has won a meet title at Churchill Downs as well. We're going to backtrack now. The Bourbon was start number 4 for Tiz the Bomb. He won the Kentucky Downs Juvenile Turf Mile before that in start number 3. This is his maiden breaking victory at Ellis Park. On debut, it was going 5 furlongs in May. Looked very inexperienced, broke a touch slowly, and took a lot of dirt. Now in start number 2, July 2nd of 2021, going a mile now, so a big stretch out in distance. And he's on the lead. He got hustled away. You saw Brian Hernandez ask him to go to the front in the early stages, and that's where he found himself. He is currently on the lead, going at it looks like they're going at a pretty quick clip. Fractions weren't overly fast, but I mean he's moving well and he's moving efficiently as he starts to kind of pull away here. And we'll just skip ahead, and you can kind of see what Tiz the Bomb can really do here on the far turn. He's opened up his lead, coasting for front under Brian Hernandez Jr., not being asked, and that's just it. I mean, this is how he looks the rest of the way, coming down the stretch, full flight. Brian, he's barely being asked. It's a very, very impressive win, which is why he went in and was able to put together 2 stakes wins right after this. So we fast forwarded again here to the Holy Bowl, his first start of 2022 as a 3-year-old, February 5th of this year. He capped off after that Bourbon win, which was the first race we saw. He was second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, a great run there. Now he's here in the Holy Bull, and he breaks okay, gets moved back in the early going. Other horses have more speed. He wasn't necessarily asked to make the lead, and now he's taking dirt. And if you remember what I said about his debut, he didn't feel comfortable in behind horses. Then in that second start, his second career run on the dirt, he found himself on the lead in the clear. Now he is back in behind horses, and he is not traveling right now. Brian Hernandez Jr. is getting after him a lot already. You can see his arms and elbows moving. He's wanting the horse to be in better position. You can see the head carriage isn't great. He's climbing at points. I mean, right there, he's just backing up. He is clearly uncomfortable with the kickback. Doesn't help that right here. He tries to get worked into the clear, only to have more dirt be thrown in his face. We'll really only watch up to the top of the stretch because that's all you need to know. He just is not taking well to the dirt in his face, which I've seen some misconceptions here. It's not that he doesn't like the dirt, because you don't win by 14 on debut, put up a decent speed figure. I know the competition wasn't much, but it was a good win. But you don't win like that if you can't get over the surface at all. You'd still be struggling over it. But he was striding out well, efficiently, as I said, doing all the right things. So it's not the dirt that's the problem. What I learned here is he doesn't like the kickback. That was evident on debut. You thought maybe that was just the case, and then we didn't get to see him on dirt for 3 runs in 7 months, so we had no idea. But there you see him. He's towards the back, second to last at the moment, clearly not getting over it well. So that's what you need to know. He just cannot handle the kickback, but the talent is there. From the Holy Bowl, he went up to Turfway Park, ran in the John Battaglia Memorial, which awarded 10 points to the winner of that race on the road to the Kentucky Derby. He's the 10 horse in here, white cap, blue and white silks. And he got into excellent position early on, similar to where he kind of was in the Holy Bull and where he had been in his 3 turf runs before that, which all went very well. He's in an excellent position right now. While those leaders go off, they went a touch quick on the front end. And I mean, that's kind of what he did. I'll skip ahead more close to the far turn, moving up very well here. You'll see what I don't like about this race, and it's the fact I don't think he was the best horse in this race, but nevertheless, you liked that he was able to bounce back from a 20-length defeat, running 7th in the Holy Bull, and get back into the winner's circle. Pretty wide on the turn here. He's in about the 6th path, 4 deep on the outside of horses. The 4 horse just bursted through. That's Stolen Base. He's graded stakes place behind Tiz the Bomb in the Bourbon that we saw at the beginning of the video. And he's really cutting into that margin late, and the jock's staying busy. It's not like Tiz the Bomb is just managing a victory here. He's holding on for dear life, and he's very lucky the wire came when it did. It was a good win. You liked the bounce back, but I thought he could have ran a lot better given the talent he had showed before. However, all of those fears about being back to that 2-year-old form on a turf-like surface were quelled here in the win in the Jeff Ruby, which we're watching now. He's the 7 horse, same exact silks he sported from that past race, and once again, just lets the speed go, and he's going to sit right outside of it, a handful of lengths off the lead. He's right there. Tawny Port is in front of him. That's notable for a reason. This was a decent field. I mean, grade 3 quality, yeah, but the horse in front right now, Dowajack Chief, was coming off a stakes win. The horses that were 2nd and 3rd had some good back class. You had stakes winners in Cabo Spirit, stakes in Stolen Base, stakes place runners like Royal Spirit and Red Run. I mean, there's just a lot of black type in this field. So this was not exactly a walkover. He was a pretty heavy favorite, but it was not an easy group by any means. Once again, he has really just sat some excellent trips. Brian Hernandez has done such a good job putting him in the right positions. Maybe not the John Battaglia since he didn't ride him there, but he's done a great job putting him in the right positions to win these specific races, because right now he's traveling in the clear. They're going a touch quicker on the front end than you would want for those speed horses, which would play perfectly into Tiz the Bomb sitting that close to mid-pack trip. Starts to make a bold move now. Tawny Port has gotten first run on him at this point. Tawny Port won the Lexington Stakes. He'll be in the Kentucky Derby off of that big victory, and you'll see a preview on him. You'll understand why it's impressive that Tiz the Bomb beat him here, and especially since Tawny Port was given the first opportunity to go to the wire. And instead Tiz the Bomb moves up right here, takes advantage, and kind of draws off. You see Stolen Base. He made a huge move on the turn and flattens out in the lane. A lot of them did that. I thought some of the horses in here that looked like legitimate contenders didn't run their A race, which that does kind of degrade the win by Tiz the Bomb a little bit, but nonetheless, he is striding out impressively. The horse that runs second was a graded stakes winner in his next start, and he's a little wrapped up in the end. So tons of positives. Definitely simmered my concerns that I saw in the John Battaglia Memorial when it came to his pure talent. And here is a quick little lowdown on Tiz the Bomb. His last 3 buyers, the Holy Bull was the Holy Bull. He clearly was not getting over the track well on that day. He improved big time in the John Battaglia Memorial. Actually ran a better figure than he did that day than he had in his wins as a juvenile in stakes races, the Kentucky Downs race and the Bourbon as well. And then big step in that 94 in the Jeff Ruby. That was 10 points higher than his figure in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. And it was very similar in terms of other metrics. Brisnet, I'm a big Brisnet believer when it comes to their figures. That number was actually one of the stronger of the last out final 100-point Kentucky Derby preps. It was, 7th or 8th for sure, but it was still better, equal to Smile Happy, for instance, and better than the horses from the Arkansas Derby, equal to Epicenter's win in the Louisiana Derby. So the figures don't lie, that this was actually a very strong performance. And the reason that his top pro is talented is because I think that's something that is kind of being brushed away. I know initially he might not look like he has a huge chance in the Kentucky Derby, and he probably doesn't, but he has a ton of talent because he very well, I feel like with a slightly better trip, probably could have won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. He was twice a stakes winner as a juvenile. He's won 2 stakes this year. He beats just about everybody put in front of him. The biggest problem is the surface, and I'll dive into that more in a second. You always like a horse coming into the Kentucky Derby on a win streak. He's put together 2 in a row, and he's really only ran 2 bad races in his career. And then the back class, Tawny Port, that's the biggest one. He beat him so well, and then Tawny Port comes back 2 weeks later to win the Lexington, and they were well clear of the rest of the field. that gives you some confidence. And the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, of course, beating some world class horses there as well. Plenty of talent from Tiz the Bomb. But the negative is the dirt. Can he handle the surface? The answer is yes. He can handle the dirt. What he can't handle is the kickback that comes with the dirt, meaning he needs to be on the lead. And I don't necessarily think that's where he's going to end up being, which is obviously a problem and kind of compromises his chances here. But you saw how well he carried himself when he found himself in front in that maiden victory at Ellis over the dirt. He was confident. He was strong to the wire. He was getting over the surface very well. You could tell the surface wasn't the issue. And I don't think it's that he didn't like Churchill Downs and that he didn't like Gulfstream and his 2 dirt losses. It's that he didn't like being, shoveled dirt into his face, which if he's not sent to the lead in the Kentucky Derby or if he's not closer up than he has been in his last 6 runs, then he's going to be in big trouble. I mean, he is a horse that Brian Hernandez has taken him off the pace. And while he's been in the clear at times, you're still going to get kickback in some effect if you're off the pace in the Kentucky Derby. So that's the big concern. If Brian Hernandez or Ken McPeak come out and say, hey, we're going to get different here, we're going to get a little bit spicy and we're going to send him to the front, then I think he actually has a chance. And I think it's a little radical to say that because I didn't think that initially, but I truly didn't think he could handle the dirt. But I soon realized he just can't handle being in behind horses on the dirt. But if they come out and pronounce, hey, we realize this, we're going to send him to the lead, and we think we can win from there, then I don't think this is a horse you can ignore. But the percentage of that's pretty low, and therefore it's hard to say he has a big shot at winning this year's Kentucky Derby unless things are changed. He's a very nice horse. Don't forget how much talent he has, because when you see him get back on the turf eventually, you're going to want to be all over him because he can certainly hang with some of the best in the world. He proved that in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. I just am not sure the Kentucky Derby will be his day in the sun unless he changes how he's put into the race. He needs to be on the front and in the clear to have a chance on the dirt. That's all I have for this Kentucky Derby preview. We'll see you next time here on Racing Rundown.